All right, high rollers, we're back at it today with a guy we've had on a few times before. There's no doubt I will be taking some heat today for even giving him a platform, but truth be told, this guy accounts for roughly 15% of our total view count on YouTube. That's 300 plus videos and interviews with multiple bracelet winners. We've had on 3 world champions and a few best-selling poker authors. And this guy, in just a couple of Q&As, has attracted quite an audience for us. Not sure what that says about poker, but we do love the game and its characters, and this guy, love him or hate him, is certainly a character. The hashtag King Salomon Ponte will be joining us in just a few minutes. But first, let's welcome in my co-host today, my moderator. Think I might need him today. Christopher Lee Womack, poker player, podcaster, licensed cannabis dealer in the state of Colorado, at Womack303 on Twitter. Christopher, welcome back to the show, man. Thanks for being here today.
Ding, ding. Round 2 begins, I guess, with Salomon Ponte. Yep, we're going to get some flack for this one, but you know what? He's still a big part of it. When I mean part of it, I mean poker drama, I mean poker talk, I mean it's World Series talk. It is on, folks. This is the time of year to be talking about anything poker. Hashtag is part of that conversation.
Yeah, well, let's talk about hashtag being part of that conversation, because I want to ask you this question. Granted, I have a modest YouTube channel. I'm a poker junkie, done maybe 150 interviews since I started HighRollerRadio.net. What does it say about poker that the hashtag king has granted more views than a lot of all those guys put together?
It says, boring. That's what's been going on. It's been great. We've had these great television shows, these great streams, this great lingo that we talk about, this great poker media. But you know what? It kind of looped back around and got everybody too ethical. I mean, I like to be ethical myself, but I'm saying, hey, for entertainment value, it's kind of come full circle. And it's a bunch of handshakes, hugs, and not a lot of clashing amongst personalities or characters in the game.
Yeah, I think a few years back, the big issue was the hoodies, the headphones, the sunglasses, and now it's just escalated even more. I mean, it really is a tame viewing when you're watching a live poker game. Everyone's so quiet these days. There are a few guys out there that talk it up, but they are few and far between.
There are some poker players, you don't even know their faces because they're wearing scarves and hoodies. And I mean, Phil even wears his big snowboarding goggles to the table sometimes. So there again, yeah, you might not even know some of these people's faces on television.
People that might give me heat, for instance, you know, I've had a few people reach out to me and say, you shouldn't have that guy on. He's bad for poker.
Yep.
You know, you're going to lose respect in the game. What do you say to those people?
I've been saying it to him the whole time. I say, hey, I'm playing poker. This is almost something I look at as separate. The game's the game of the table, and those are some of the questions I'm going to bring up to Salomon today is, what's the last game he's played? Where has he played at? Like, true grinders, true poker players are playing every day, talking about it every day. So I look at this as poker drama. This is almost like a side bet or a side occurrence that's going along with the game. Me personally, talk is talk for me.
It'll be very interesting to see the hashtag schedule over the course of the WSOP to see if he tries to play a few events, to see if he gets banned. I mean, that's
maybe if he wears a scarf, you know, if he wears a scarf or a hoodie or some glasses, but I don't think he can keep his mouth shut. So.
Yeah, he's going to have to go in disguise, that's for sure. Speaking of which, the World Series of Poker starts very soon, just a matter of days now. You're heading down there. I know you're pumped. You're a poker junkie just like me. You're playing. What have you got going on there? You're going to be sporting some fine poker apparel too, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Big shout out to Under the Gun Clothing. You can find some great hats. I'll be sporting some of their clothing during the World Series. And shout out to Real Grinders also. But getting on the road, I get on the road Monday. I'm going to run the Boulder. It's a 10K. I'm going to run the race, and then we're hitting the road. Going to camp out in Utah, and then make it into Las Vegas on the 30th. Kind of show up at the Rio for some pre-festivities, kind of the opening ceremonies that you'd say, and then starting off with the casino employee event. So really getting pumped about that, and looking forward to that drive, even though it's about a 12-hour drive from Colorado. Really excited about it.
Well, I take it that you're the type of guy that's going to make it an experience, right? It's part of the thing. You got to do it. You got to take the road trip. You got to take it all in. And then when it's time to play, you got to get down to business.
Life is a road trip. Life is an adventure. Like, I mean, anybody can take a flight to Las Vegas. I mean, why not run our 10K race and then go camp out in Utah for a day or two and then show up at your house, jump in the pool, and then Hey, go to the World Series of Poker and play in the very first event. I'm very excited. I'm very blessed to be a part of. Also, a big shout out to the Denver Poker Tour. That's who's given me the opportunity to work with them and get my casino employee event badge. So, working with them the past year has been awesome. Also,
And what do you think of the WSOP schedule this year for a guy like you that plays a lot? I mean, there is a lot for everyone there, including 3 bracelet events, some very cheap buy-ins this year, and it seems every weekend there is an attraction for the out-of-towner.
it is awesome. They have really put their heads together on previous years and really come together. The Rios putting together a great World Series this year. It starts off with great things grouped together. You have the casino employee event, followed by the Colossus, followed by the WSOP $333 online event. Then you have the Giant mixed in there. You have a few events, but also mixed in with the big events. You have the 10,000K tag team event starting off the World Series also, so that's going to be kind of coinciding with a lot of these smaller events. So if you are a mid stakes or micro stakes tournament player, you can see these high stakes tournaments in the same setting that you're playing, hopefully in the Amazon room or many of the other rooms at the Rio.
And we've got an interview coming up with a gentleman from the Poker Society tomorrow, but all the other events going on in Vegas during the WSOP. It's not just happening at the Rio. You mentioned in our last interview about satellites trying to get in on the cheap, in for the min to win the max. There's so much value in Vegas over the course of the summer, and we haven't even mentioned the cash games. It really is something, and if you're a poker junkie, it's the place to be. Lastly, you're from the state of Colorado. We talked about it before, but there's a lot of guys going down to Vegas. They'll probably have a big chip stack. The break comes, they're going to sneak out to partake, and it's very dangerous this year.
By partaking, I assume you mean smoking the marijuana?
I do. Smoking the reefer.
Smoking the reefer. Well, good question. Like I said, big percent of people do smoke or partake in the poker community. So there again, guys, don't be caught with a big chip stack. Maybe have an edible that morning with cannabis infused. There again, I'm not advocating that you smoke marijuana on property or take marijuana on property. I'm just saying be careful of what you do in your personal time. There again, it's still in that gray area on Nevada properties. So there again, just be safe, guys, and remember, you can always smoke afterwards, or make sure you have a wake and bake with some nice coffee and some bud and sunshine in Las Vegas.
All right, man. Well, I wish you all the best down in Vegas this summer. I know you're going to be busy taking it in, the sights and the sounds. We want to hear from you. Keep in touch because we want to update our listeners throughout the World Series as to what's happening down there. And hopefully, you've got a bracelet run in you, man. I also want to wish you luck with what's about to happen. We've got Salomon Ponte coming up. Let's see if we can get him on the phone now.
Let's do it. Do it.
All right, let's welcome in the Hashtag King, who is broadcasting this live right now on Twitch. We, of course, tape and post it to YouTube later. Salomon Ponte, welcome back to the show. We are joined by Christopher Lee Womack. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
What's up? How's it going, bud?
Good. It's been calm around here in LA. I'm just been hanging out.
Well, I guess it's been calm. You created quite a stir in the poker world. We're going to talk about that in a second. But first off, you're giving away $1,000 live on stream today for such a controversial and some would say hated guy. That's a pretty nice thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like, I've literally spent the last 3 weeks of my life just giving back, giving to charity, helping one of my good friends find a kidney for his father so that he can live. So, why not? Even though I don't get a tax receipt this time, I don't mind.
When you say helping out with charity, is this part of making amends to the poker world? Because I'm interested in your thoughts on how you would describe this whirlwind affair you've had with poker. You really created quite a stir, and in all honesty, it was both epic, outrageous, and even at times cringeworthy, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not doing this for anybody, like, way before poker, I was involved in charity work, and, Joey Ingram, as he always says on his stupid show, like, show me receipts, I can show you receipts of the amount of money I've given to charity over the years, and, I bet you it's a lot more than most of these poker pros.
Yeah, I bet too. Let me jump in here. So it's been, I'm scrolling down this Facebook post, 32 Twitter bans, 20 casino bans, 2 plus 2. They've been around for a long time. BS site and ban, you say. How are you going to make amends if you're going to make amends, and where are you going to play at?
I mean, listen, like, I'm really not here to, like, make amends. I'm not here to come on and say I'm sorry for my actions because, I'm not. But I am here to say, a lot of the things that have been happening and like what people have been saying about me, I think, they're full out wrong, and I think a lot of the stuff is just bullshit. Like the Twitter bans, most of the casino bans, like no offense, and a lot of the stuff that happened on Poker Night in America, also, I'm not here to take blame, like talking about Sean Deeb's like wife, yeah, I shouldn't have talked about her, but he brought up family first, and I ended it, and I did nothing wrong, Matt Glantz, the producer, he came up to me, right before the show, and he's like, these are the ground rules, Salomon.
Matt Glantz saw. I mean, I from what I saw, Matt Glantz was encouraging it almost, and
right.
Whether it was a false apology or a true apology, that was total encouragement by Matt Glantz on your way to the table to talk to Sean Deeb, and that was the point where you did get shipped off the property per se.
No, exactly. Like I got banned because I was filming my apology when the Poker Night in America crew was also filming my apology,
And Matt Glantz said, better make it a good one, I believe?
Right, exactly, so everyone knew exactly what was going on, but, since I'm like dubbed like the most hated player, people have this opinion of me, and they're like, oh, like he did something wrong, let's kick him out, when in fact I did nothing wrong, I was trying to, make things right, I feel bad for talking about his wife, but at the end of the day, when he brings up family, he starts to, I have no problems, burying him and making him feel like shit and bring up his family as well, So, I felt bad for what I said, but at the end, I felt bad and I said sorry, but, I still think what I did was right. Maybe it's a little bit overboard, but at the end of the day, it's a TV show, and I know that I did nothing wrong. And Matt, obviously, like he didn't encourage me really, like me talking about the guy's wife, but we set a bunch of ground rules before the show, and talking about someone's family. It should have been a rule, but it wasn't. And since he brought up my family earlier on Twitter, I was there to blast his, and that's
open game at that point. Open game at that
point.
Right.
He opened the door. I don't like to talk about people's family. Like live at the bike, I almost got into a fist fight with someone because he talked about my mother. So that's not my scene. But if someone starts something with me, I'm gonna finish it. And Sean Deeb was in tears pretty much. So.
Kind of going back to this Facebook post, we're looking at a few things. Joey Ingram being a terrible human being and scum. So still got a lot of beef with Joey Ingram, huh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I tried to say sorry for Joey for kind of calling him out for being the scumbag that he is, and I had to create different Twitter accounts to try to reach out to this idiot because he's literally blocked me from everywhere. And the guy's supposed to be like an objective reporter, yet he won't have me on the show because all his best little friends, they hate me and they want to boycott me. So how is that proper reporting? I'm very confused, and I had to pay this guy $2,000 to get on his show to begin with. And now that I told him, fuck you, you want me on the show, I'm not gonna pay you, and in fact, you should be paying me to come on the show now.
I find it very funny. Also, everybody likes to chime in, but they don't want to chime into the center of it. We got backlash in cardchat.com. There's tweets every day. We're still reliving the bike. It's like, didn't that happen a year ago almost? I mean, come on, we've had 5 or 6 tournaments since then. So centering back on Doug Polk. Why is he scared to play for $1 million? He just won $271,000 on a live stream the other week. I mean, why is Doug Polk scared to play you?
Honestly, I have no idea. Because if we set the record straight, and unlike what Joey said in his was he out of line in that stupid video he made? He straight up lied. Number one, because if he actually watched the show, Doug Polk, he challenged me to heads up for $1 million, and he even admitted it on his own YouTube channel. So I have no idea why Doug is scared to play me heads up. I've been calling him out ever since Poker Night in America. Yo, let's get the ball rolling. And I can't reach out to him. No one wants to give me his phone number. I asked Ryan Feldman from Live at the Bike, yo, can you please give me Doug's number? And Doug is like, oh, I don't feel comfortable giving it to #King, blah blah blah. I'm like, listen, Doug, just stop being a fucking pompous asshole. No one gives a shit about your number. Give me your number. I'm not gonna spread it to the world and blast. I'm not gonna tell everyone, yo, look, here's Doug Polk's phone number, because really nobody cares. So he doesn't want to reach out to me. He's afraid to play Luke Schwartz. He won't play me. So I don't know. It's weird. It is what it is. But
it's one of those fabled things you kind of go back to. It's like, I'd rather play at a week table maybe, or I'd maybe not want to be put on a stage that well, because it would hurt his name and hurt his brand if he was to lose. I mean, it would do nothing but help your brand, and his brand would be hurt.
Exactly. So, again, put your money where your mouth is, I'm not scared of nobody, and I'm not scared of anything. And if you challenge me to something, let's do it, put your money where your mouth is, but don't disappear, you know. He won't even acknowledge about anything about me, and he keeps saying, you know, like, I just feel bad for the kid, he says, and I'm just like, okay, like, come on, don't feel bad for me, like, you know, if I don't feel bad for me, like, you know, no one should feel bad for me, you know, like, my life is just fine, so.
You're officially stating that you are not broke, and you can play this heads-up game.
Listen, you know, everyone's been saying I was broke since Poker Night in America, but what did I do? You know, right after Poker Night in America, you know, I went to Vegas for a couple of days. It didn't work out so well there. Then I went to Live at the Bike, and, you know, I tried every day to play. You know, I was there for a week. You know, I was there for all of #King Week. They got canceled, and I tried to get in the game, and, you know, Ryan Feldman wouldn't let me play because, I know, he feels I'm bad for the game when, you know, he has someone like Brandon Cantu, who most people in the poker world, you know, I don't know if this is true or not. I personally really like Brandon, but, you know, he's dubbed as like a scammer, you know, kind of a guy that, you know, owes people money. You know, they talk about like Sorrell that way, but, you know, I don't know whether that's true or not, so I don't judge either of them. But if someone like Brandon, who everyone thinks is a scammer, whether it's true or not, I don't know, he's allowed to play. Why can't me, like someone who all he did was like talk shit?
Chris Ferguson played at the World Series last year. Chris fucking Ferguson. I mean, come on. That's an $88 million scam, supposedly, that he pocketed. I mean, Howard Ledger. Right. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, put somebody on a cross and crucify somebody next and next and next. I mean, there's some bad names in poker, and there's some really, really bad names in poker.
Yeah, you know, and like, you know, I've never scammed anyone. I've never, you know, all I do is talk shit. And the pros, you know, they like Doug Polk, you know, he ran away from me. Like, he won't even talk to me. He called the floor on Poker Night in America, you know, while I was still in the game because, like, he was so tilted. He's like, get him out of here. Like, I can't stand this. Like, you know, like, if I'm tilting the best players in the world, that tells you something, you know. Like, these guys are nothing, and they're scared of what I can do to them. And that's why, you know, Sean Deeb called Ryan Feldman from Live at the Bike and said, you know what, let's cancel his week. I'll even come and replace #King, and we could do a Sean Deeb week the same week that #King week was supposed to air. And I told Feldman, I'm like, listen, like, if you would have done that, you know, I would have been scrapping Sean Deeb because, like, that's nonsense.
No doubt there are bad guys in poker. There are a lot of good guys in poker too, but a lot of those good guys are pretty boring to watch. I was very exciting when you broke onto the scene here, Salomon, and I'm curious as to your thoughts. I want to read a few comments from our last YouTube video, but I was mentioning to Chris off the top that we've had 300 plus videos, and our Q&As with you account for roughly 15% of all total views. I'm wondering your thoughts on what that says about poker. By the way, our last interview, more than 7,000 views. That's huge for us. It had 5 likes, 24 dislikes, all kinds of comments. But here are a few. Brian Winter says, this guy, #King, is great for poker. You guys are missing the point. He's just so misunderstood. Great for the game. Keep it up, King. Devin Morrissey writes, yeah, great for poker, but he's not allowed to play anywhere. And John Dillinger writes, when you talk shit like a prison inmate at a professional poker game, you get your ass banned. # is a lowlife and needs to be banned from any more appearances on TV. He hurts all poker players. How would you describe your foray into poker? Did it go according to plan? And what do you think about the reaction that you've received, Salomon?
Listen, you know, like, everyone's talking shit, but at the end of the day, you know, actions speak louder than words. Like you said, you know, the views for your show when I'm on, huge. You know, Poker Night in America, you know, all these guys have already been on the show. Maybe Brandon wasn't on it, or I don't know, but I think all of them pretty much have been on Poker Night in America before. And the only difference on the Poker Night in America episode was that I was on the show. And when I came on the show, you know, the viewership doubled, the ratings doubled. And the second I left, you know, viewership dropped. You know, it dropped, I think, in half, someone was telling me. So, like, people want to see me, but there's obviously people out there high up in the poker world that, you know, they're scared of change. You know, at the end of the day, I got involved in poker, you know, because I love the game. And I act the way I act at the poker table because, you know, I want to bring poker back. You know, I want to encourage, you know, these birds to, like, come out of nowhere and start dumping money at the table, and, like, all the sponsorship to come back and all the TV airtime to come back. And, you know, and that's exactly what I'm doing. But these guys, you know, like Sean Deeb and Joey Ingram and Doug Polk and Daniel Negreanu, like, all these guys, you know, they're scared. You know, they're scared of what I can do. But they don't realize that, you know, what I'm doing is benefiting the poker world as a whole. And the numbers don't lie, you know. The views doubled, you know. the ratings doubled. Everything's going up when I'm on the show. Obviously there's controversy, but at the end of the day, like, people they're skewing the facts. They're not getting the full picture, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, he insulted Sean Deep's wife." Like, yeah, well, what about him accusing me of sexually assaulting his quote unquote sister? No one talks about that part. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to make poker great, and like everyone keeps banning me and doing all this nonsense because they're trying to shut me up. Like I'm kind of getting tired of it. I don't need to be in poker. I'm a CPA. I can easily get a 6-figure salary anywhere I want. And I'm here because, I enjoy the game, but if these guys they keep trying to, I don't know, I guess silence me, it's getting out of hand. I'm kind of getting fed up. It's like, why am I getting banned from Chocolate for doing nothing? Why am I getting banned from Bellagio, Caesars, Playground, all these casinos? It's just outrageous.
From a personal standpoint, I have been very entertained by the majority of your tweets. Some of them I thought may be borderline harassment, but they have made me laugh a lot of times. What's this tweet you sent out about the Poker Illuminati? Very interested in your thoughts on that.
Okay. So that's interesting. So we have a secret group. So I don't know. These poker players, they want to use Telegram. I'm like, okay, I don't really understand the difference between Telegram and WhatsApp. Like, if someone really wants to hack, they'll be able to hack. But anyway, so this Poker Illuminati, it's basically a group of like some of the biggest name poker players in the world, where we sit around on, this Telegram app, which is the same as WhatsApp, and just like, we just talk shit about everyone. We have a good time. We make each other laugh. We like put on, we say a bunch of jokes, and like currently at the moment, the group it's me, Todd Brunson, Matt Glantz, Mike Dentale, Ryan Feldman, Robert Mizrahi. I think Michael Mizrahi's in there too. Drew Amato, DJ McKinnon. Funniest guy. I love that guy. Like, he's so funny because like he's apparently gay, and like he encourages us to like kind of like make fun of him for being gay, which is weird, but like whatever. Like, if that's what he likes and if he's comfortable with it, like sure, like whatever. I don't know who else is in there. I think Drew Amato's in there, but he's never said a word because I think I have beef with him and WP Deep Stacks. Sean Deep was in there for a little bit. We had a serious war on Telegram. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Saw that.
Chris, what do you think about this idea of the Poker Illuminati?
Well, you're talking to a Freemason right here, so let's go a little in depth to that. Poker Illuminati, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, listen, we're all here to have fun, trying to figure out how to make poker better. But at the end of the day, there are people like, Doug Polk and Sean Deeb and Joe Ingram and Daniel Negreanu who want to really, they want to keep things how they are. And, the way things are going in poker, it's not going too well, like sponsorships are gone, everyone's a pro, it's hard to make a living, like Luke Ford said, as a professional poker player because the players are getting better and there aren't new people entering the field of poker because it's boring, it's a boring sport, like, no offense, the only thing that makes poker exciting are the characters of the game. It makes no sense, it's stupid. They should all be encouraging me, because by encouraging me, I bring new people to the game of poker, people that aren't that skilled, whether they're rich people, poor people, middle-class people, I bring more money to the game. Everyone profits, the whole industry as a whole profits. I mean, being outlandish, getting people, like, watch poker and be like, oh, wow, I want to be like that guy. Like, let me start playing poker,
That's truly what I've been saying the whole time. Probably the best thing that ever happened to Phil Ivey was going out that final table first against Moneymaker. It made him $20 million, $30 million plus. That was probably the best thing that happened to him. I mean, you're seeing Mike Sexton make moves out of the WPT. He's going back into the online game. When this online game is back on the TV channel 3-4 commercials in a row on ESPN, the game's going to be a different game all over again. These elitists will be elitists, and you'll be great at the game, but then you're going to have the moneymaker factor. And it's truly a factor these days, and not a pun intended. The moneymaker factor is the hype that goes behind poker, because poker is a great game. Everybody can get good together. Everybody can have the same lingo, the same, what you're going to do in all these situations. You've all played the same amount of hands, but what it comes back down to is you need hype. You need hyping games up. And that's what's made television good with poker and pot good with poker.
Yeah, you're right. And people just, I don't know, there's people that are destroying the game of poker. That's people like Joe Ingram.
Daniel Negreanu, is Daniel Negreanu, you think he's bad for the game right now?
Listen, Daniel Negreanu has been the face of poker for a long time. And, he got, he got to where he was by being this sort of nice guy with a big mouth, at the table. And everyone, they perceive him as this nice guy. But, I've heard a lot of people in poker talk really, really badly about how people do this. And, I saw it. I saw it firsthand when I was at the Commerce. I was next to Ryan Feldman. This is before I knew Feldman, but he told me he was right beside me because I filmed an ordeal. So basically, I saw Negreanu basically threaten to, take Mike Madison outside and knock him out for charity over some sort of I don't know. I think Madison owes him some money or something like that. But at the end of the day, Negreanu, from what I've been able to tell, is like probably one of the richest guys in poker. He's made millions through Poker Stars. And, Mike Madison at the moment, he's very sick. He's got a lot of health problems and, he's in a bad spot. And for Daniel to threaten to, take him outside and knock him out and then cuss at him and say, fuck you and all this bullshit, when the cameras aren't rolling, there you get a sense of, what a person is really like when the cameras are off. Everyone wants to talk shit about, how I'm so wild on camera, but
you were on camera. It's the same medium that they're using. They're just using the opposite side of that medium.
In person, I'm actually a nice guy, but no one wants to talk about, all the charity work I do and trying to save someone's life because he doesn't have, his kidneys failing and all this other stuff. My buddy came up to me literally, I think 2 days ago, and he's like, listen, Saul, I know you have a lot of influence in social media and you're on it a lot. My father, his kidney's at 5%, and if he doesn't find the kidney, he could die and go on dialysis. Do you mind using social media to try to reach out to someone that might be able to donate his kidney that has blood O type? And I'm like, listen, if I could save your dad's life, that would be one of the, I would feel amazing. That would be great for me. And I don't want anything. I didn't ask him for money. I said, listen, I don't care. I'll blast social media, no problem. No one's talking about that. Everyone wants to talk about, what I said about Sean Deeb's wife when really, he started the whole fight to begin with. And he admitted it on I think, Joey Ingram's podcast. He's like, yeah, I kind of, I started it, blah, blah, blah. But, no one talks about that or any charity I'm doing. They just talk about, oh, my God, the wife, look what happened, blah, blah, blah.
What I always see in poker is it's funny. It's if you're the scapegoat for all the bad things done in poker right now, that truly are not that bad, with the millions maybe owed to people that are maybe willing to knock each other out at the Commerce Casino, quote unquote. Besides the people that are hopped up on fucking yayo every night in the clubs every single night, the other kids that are loan sharking these other kids that they know they're going to lose and then they're going to beat them up. I mean, you can go on the scumbags in the fucking game.
You're absolutely right. How could these guys that have done such bad things, real things to people, stolen money, Ferguson and Lederer, these guys that, Lederer and Ferguson that have scammed people, people may have killed themselves because of Ferguson and Lederer, I have done nothing wrong, what have I done, I've been kicked out of some casinos because, they hate me, so they're like, oh, let's just get them out of here, but, all of my casino, bans, I've filmed all of them, and except for one or two, which were actually my fault, all the casinos I shouldn't have been banned from. I'm banned from.
You heard it, folks. He does admit to faults. He just admitted it.
Yeah, listen, I'll call a spade a spade. When I do something wrong, I'll own up to it, But at the end of the day, Venetian, Caesars, Bellagio, Chopped, Playground Poker, all these casinos that I'm banned from, I should not be banned from. And it makes no sense, and it boggles my mind that someone like Chris Ferguson and Howard Lederer could show up at an event and play it and be allowed to play, but I can't.
Speaking of the WSOP, obviously you're banned. You can't go there, but are you playing at all these days? You're tired of poker. We saw the situation with the restaurant and the video and the World Hip Hop magazine. What's your end game here? Are you going to get away from poker and try to go reality TV? I mean, you might have a shot there, buddy.
Listen, since I was young, since I was 9, 10, 11 years old, all my buddies, you need a reality TV show because, your life is so crazy. The shit you do and the shit that happens only to you, if you filmed your life just, the day-to-day of Salomon and Ponte, you would fucking, you would make so much money. And, it's funny because, the whole World Star Hip Hop and the pot liquor barbecue incident, that wasn't, I had really nothing to do with that. It wasn't my bill. It was a UFC party. I was only there because, my ex-buddy, quote-unquote, Julian Lane, invited me and said everything was, calm. How is it that the cops show up and, they issue me some stupid misdemeanor for not paying the bill, but I didn't even run away. I'm like, listen, give me 5 minutes, I'll pay it, and then, let's get this over with. And they're like, no, you're gonna, they're pressing charges, you're getting a misdemeanor, blah, blah, blah. and now I have to fork out $1,500 to get rid of this stupid like $80 tab. When Hot Liquor Barbecue, they confined me to their restaurant. The bodyguard like shoved me, and then they uttered death threats. But then when I asked the police, can I file charges against the restaurant for what they did to me, and they're like, no, you have to go to the police station and do that. I'm like, so the restaurant can press charges against me for paying a bill that's not even mine, yet I can't press charges for a real crime? Like, I'm so confused, and like, it's just so fucked up. You can ask people, like, Julian Lane ran away. He ran away. He wasn't charged. He wasn't even charged, and it was his bill, and he gets off scot-free, and I somehow get an $80 like misdemeanor charge, and I have to hire a lawyer to get rid of it. It really makes no sense.
Last thing I saw on Twitter is that you had purchased or rented an apartment in Los Angeles, a pretty nice place. Are you able to play poker now, or can you not get a game anywhere?
No, listen, I can, live at the bike. I mean, the bicycle casino, they banned me for 30 days. I think that ban is pretty much over now. Like, maybe in a week it'll be over. Commerce Casino, I can play at right now. I can play at, like, Hustler. I can play at the Wynn and the Encore in Las Vegas. I can play at the Hard Rock in Florida. There's a lot of places I can play at, but, I've taken time off. I've taken personal time. I've basically taken a vacation from my vacation that is my life. I've been on vacation now for like 2-3 years, basically traveling the world, playing poker, living out of, the most expensive hotel rooms and having the most expensive meals and going to shopping malls and going to stores and literally buying everything in the store. I'm literally, I'm taking a break, and I'm hoping to get unbanned for the World Series of Poker so that I can head back to Vegas, and that's really why I'm still in LA. It's very close to Vegas, and the second they say I can play, which I hope they do say I can play. I'll be on the next plane out to Las Vegas to play.
The thing that I find interesting, Salomon, is that everyone makes jokes about this waiting on a wire business and that you're broke and that you've got daddy's money. And yet I see you all over the place. Like you said, your life is a vacation. You must have some money. And let me tell you, if the WSOP gave you the opportunity and you happen to pull off a bracelet victory, I mean, you would just skyrocket.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like, I've already proven that, the fans and, the fans are really what makes like poker. Like, yeah, you can go and grind that, whatever. But what provides money to the poker industry are these fans. And I've proven time and time again, just like on Poker Night in America, where the views doubled, the ratings doubled, and just like on your show, where I made up a good percentage of the views. People want to see me. But there's people like Sean Deeb and Joe Ingram and Danny Negreanu and Doug Polk. They want to silence me because they're scared. They're scared I'm going to be making more money than them and all this nonsense, and that scares people. People are scared of change, but they don't understand they're hurting themselves by trying to like boycott me, and it makes no sense.
Well, I think you make poker great again, man. I don't want to steal Donald Trump's quote unquote, but things like this make poker great again. Antonio Estandari, like him having a side bet and pissing in a bottle under a table and then getting kicked out of that table. He had to make big public apologies, yada, yada, yada. That's fucking awesome. It's really funny. Why not add this flair to the game? The game needs it. It's been too much nodding and head shakes and basically everybody knowing each other, making a bunch of money, playing the same exact game that everybody else is playing.
Exactly. And like I've really done nothing wrong. Like, what have I done wrong? Just like, made a couple of pro poker players cry. Like Sean Deeb was like in tears, and like now I'm banned from everywhere. Like, it makes no sense. Like, it's, like, find me something where I've hurt someone else, in a financial way or in a physical way, and then maybe we could talk about banning me. But, there's people there scamming people's families on the street, like people killing themselves because of, like, Howard Lederer and Chris Ferguson, yet they're allowed to play and I'm not. Like, it makes no sense.
Yep. The poker world is freaking nuts. Really, like, you bring good things to poker. I believe when, I think Mike Sexton made the change because everything is going to go legal. I think when they are starting to grab up names out there, you're a kind of name that'll be grabbed up more than somebody that's got lost in translation in the middle of making even more money or less money, but just being middle of the road. A name like yourself, a brand like yourself does get snatched up real quick for commercialism.
100%. And I'm not even here for, the money, I have a CPA. I can make money doing accounting work, being a controller, being a CFO of a company, but I don't need to be here. It's like, you guys want to shun me out and ban me, then, it is what it is. You lost a huge asset to the poker world by doing that.
It's like taking Mike Tyson out of the boxing ring, but we don't know if you're Mike Tyson status, but hey, you're a boxer.
I think I might be more than Mike Tyson status for poker. We'll find out. Time will tell.
I love it. It's good for the game. I mean, some of the best moments in poker have been the most controversial. It's definitely not two people shaking hands, even though that might be the best moment at the time, but definitely not the best moment visually in the entertainment world of poker.
Yeah, well, no one wants to sit down and watch people play cards and have, watch them with headphones and not speak for fucking, how often does a straight flush get seen or a royal flush or quads, that doesn't happen often in poker, so, unless you spice it up, no one's going to watch and no one's going to care, and there's going to be no money in the sport.
Poker was started in New Orleans, but it was made popular in the West. In the Wild West, there's been some more than a few shady characters, if not personalities, out in the West.
Of course.
Let me ask you this before we wrap it up, Salomon. In your epic adventure, and that's what I got to call it, I mean, it truly has been an epic adventure, and I've really enjoyed watching it. I know some people are not going to like me saying that, but it's been entertaining. I've been a fan throughout. Yes, I have cringed, and again, you've done wonders for the YouTube channel here. You've got us a lot of views, so we thank you for that. But throughout your adventure, all the turmoil, who are the people in poker that you have gained respect for? You've often mentioned the people you don't like, all the birds. But what about the people that you do like and that you've gained respect over, whether it's the way they treated you or whether they've helped you in a situation? Who are some of those people?
Well, that's a good question. So, before I answer that, I just want to say, despite everything people see and all the shit talking I do on social media, I don't hate nobody, Sean Deeb, I kind of think Sean Deeb's pretty funny in his own sort of weird way. I don't mind the guy, It's just for social media and for the TV, I'm gonna pretend like I hate the guy, but I actually think he's pretty funny, to be honest. And Doug Polk also, I think Doug Polk's also a pretty cool guy. And who else do I quote unquote dislike? I don't know, Joe Ingram. I don't hate him, but I dislike him because of what he's doing. And in the ground, also I don't know him personally, so I can't say I hate or dislike him. But his actions have shown me that he's not really someone I want to associate with. So really, I don't. All these people that everyone thinks I really hate, I don't. But coming back to the people I can really look up to in poker, it's a good question. Number one, I would probably have to say Mike Dentale is a great guy. Despite being very hated and everyone talking shit to him all the time, he's a real guy. I really like him. Mike's an awesome dude. I love Mike. And Matt Lance is good. Ryan Feldman, I disagree with him banning me, but he did what he thought was best for his business, and it's his business, and he has a right to say what happens in his business, and that's fine. But Ryan Feldman's a great guy. Todd Brunson, the Mizrahi brothers. Who else is there? Alex Keaton, I like him because he's funny. Paul Volpe, I think, is nice.
Alex bought a hat off you, right?
Yeah, he's funny. I like him.
And what about Luke Schwartz?
Listen, Luke Schwartz, I think is good for poker too. I think he's fucking hilarious. He's a funny character and he keeps it real. He reminds me of me. To be honest, he keeps it real. He makes people laugh. He has a fucking hilarious accent. Talks a lot of shit. That's amazing for poker. That's good stuff. Who else? Jeff Gross is an amazing guy. He's honestly so kind. He just, he gives off just kindness. It's weird. It's a weird. I don't know how it works, but for me, when I see Jeff Gross, I just see a really nice guy. Dan Coleman, I like. Paul Volpe's good. I like Jake Schwartz. Harrison Gimbel's a really nice guy. Lonnie Harwood, and these are all people that I know personally that I've talked to, and based on my interactions with them, I make a decision and say, okay, I actually like this guy. This guy's actually a nice person, a good person. All these people I've named, I actually know them, and I've spoken to them in the past. Garrett Greer's a really nice guy. Matt Savage is hilarious. Who else? Mike Sexton's really nice. Vince Van Patten. Mike Mattisell's really good. He's a really nice guy. I don't know, man. The list goes on. I don't really dislike or hate anyone because it's too much work. I'll feel bad for myself if I spend time thinking about someone and be like, oh, I hate him, because it's why would I spend my time thinking negatively? I don't want to live my life being upset. So there's not really anyone I hate. There's people that I think are wrong in what they're doing, But for the most part, I like a lot of like big name pros, like Phil Locke, also a really nice guy.
My first World Series event, I sat next to Phil Locke, and then Jennifer Tilly was 2 tables over. So that was my first World Series experience. That was fun.
Yeah, Phil Locke's hilarious. Anthony Zeno's cool. Like, I don't know. Honestly, all the big names, like I think I like them all. I don't have any beef with them, and I think if you ask them, they don't have any beef with me. And like, I think all of these guys I just named, they all like me as well. Like Sam Abernathy, even like me and her, like we had a good time sitting at the Bellagio in the high stakes room. Like we did a bunch of like Snapchats together and whatever. I took a bunch of pictures, but then she got upset because I was talking shit about like her ex-boyfriend Dan Bilzerian and whatnot. And even Dan, like Dan Bilzerian, like I think he's great for poker too. Like I've never met the guy, but like I obviously talk shit to him because they call me the biggest douchebag in poker, and like he kind of gets perceived as the biggest douchebag, but I was actually like crowned the biggest douchebag by Break.com. So it's kind of funny. I just like I just chirp him and troll him, talk a lot of shit about him, but like I have nothing against Dan Bilzerian. Like he seems like a really cool dude also. So I don't know. The list goes on, but there's a lot of good people in poker, and there's a select few that are like harming the entire industry as a whole. But it is what it is.
Well, listen, man. I think Christopher Womack will agree. You've been very entertaining for poker. The sense I get is that you'd be a great guy to hang around with, and you don't want to get into a competitive environment with you because you might start the name calling. I might get all sensitive, and we might not be friends for long. But I'll tell you what, I think there would be nothing more epic than the WSOP allowing you to play and you pull off one of your WPT runs and get to a final table. Chris, what do you think? Would that not be the most epic moment or what?
I tell you what. I tell you what. If you show up at the World Series, the cameras will be on you no matter what. So you just have to get through day 1, day 2. That way you don't get banned in the first 2 days of a tournament. So that I think that might be your biggest problem. Not cards or not actually betting on the cards. So if you can get to the World Series, I think the cameras will be on you. I think, like I said from the beginning, you need a reality show. Sometimes not the felt. But there again, that's your game. Get it done, man. I think you should write some letters. Get yourself back in the WSOP. I think, like I said, ESPN and everybody else will be taking advantage of another character in the game of poker, and hopefully that kind of characterism rewards you in the future.
Yeah, and I'll just finish with this. Like, if they unban me, I'll be there. But like, I just want to make it clear that even at the table, if you don't start shit with me, like I never attack someone first, and you'll see that because like on Poker Night in America, I never went after Brandon Cantu, and I never went after Mike Dentale or the guy in C1 that I don't even know his name because he didn't say a word on the show.
I was like, who was that random guy that didn't say a damn word? Who was that?
Yeah.
And see, like he was sitting there with a great stack. He had some great pots, and who was that guy? Who was that guy?
Yeah, exactly. No one cared.
Nobody cares who that guy is.
Right. Exactly. And like put me on a table with a bunch of nice guys, and it's not a good show because I feel bad attacking someone that's not coming after me. But unless we have a prior history, or you start talking shit to me, you can ask anyone. Ask anyone that's ever played with me, and I'll never attack anybody unless someone attacks me first. But once you attack me, fucking you open the door and I'm gonna blast the fuck out of you.
What's funny is people would remember your 2 watches, your 2 phones, the blue optics you're wearing, all the sponsorships, the things that are supposed to be embedded in your memory, what television does, and we can't even remember with the one guy's name, let alone what he was wearing, but we can probably remember the 5, 6 different interactions of things that were hell a product placement, but entertainment within a product placement.
Yeah, the 20 hats, like it was funny. The giveaways, the $1,000 dealer tip, the waitress tip, like no one was giving away $1,000 to the fucking dealer, like. But I'm the bad guy in poker. Like, I don't know, whatever.
I'll tell you what, I remember watching it. It was an epic show, Poker Night in America. And it's true. It was around, I can't remember the count, something around 5,000 viewers. And when you got eliminated and kicked out of the table, it went down to about 1,800 not too long after that. Christopher Womack, listen, have a good trip down to Vegas. Good luck in the casino employees event. Win that bracelet. Keep us up to date because we're going to have you on throughout. We'd love to talk to you. He's at Womack303 on Twitter. Salomon, Ponte, it's been an epic ride, man. Thank you so much for your time and what you've done for our channel. We got a lot of views out of you. We really appreciate that. It's at hashtag KingCA19 today. It might be hashtag KingCA20 tomorrow. But today it's 19.
I'm probably already banned right now. As we speak, I'm probably.
Salomon, Ponte, good luck. Enjoy your vacation from the vacation that is your life, man.
Thank you.
Peace. Y'all have fun. High Roller Radio. High Roller Radio.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.